Let's go.
Oh, what's going on, yo? It's been a hot minute. So my schedule's been all messed up this midsummer, so apologize for that. But I'm going to be getting on a better schedule here. Just kind of dancing around with, roommates and other stuff and just trying to make it work. Sometimes the stars just don't align properly, but that's okay. Who cares about that? We're here. It's the weekly wrap up, end of the week here. Oh my gosh, that is a crazy research piece that I'm doing that you just flashed and saw for a second. I will go over it for here in a little bit later, because I do think it does have some relevance and is important. It's still a work in progress, though, but we'll get to that. That is some Dow theory stuff for traditional markets. We'll dabble in that a little bit later when we get to that part of the show. Oh, Bitcoin. Why, hello. Bitcoin. Lots of big pumps yesterday. Looks like not so much today, though. Looks like we're getting a little bit of stalling pressure. I mean, you can't go up every day forever, right? I mean, it's just got to have a little bit of selling. Unless it's Ethereum, then it just literally goes up. There's literally only, there's literally only two, actually not even two, because this is today. It's not done yet. So there's only one down day in this whole run, which is currently 18 days. So we had one down day in 18 days. Oh, maybe right here. Oh yeah, $5. That doesn't count. That's pretty much flat. But yeah, so 18 days, one down day, possibly the next one coming up here today, but there's still 5 hours. So that's a lot of time. Anything can happen in that. So let's just start with Mama Bear. Actually, we'll look at total market cap real quick. We haven't looked at that in a while. Yeah, it looks pretty good. This pretty much looks like Bitcoin. Not so. The total too actually doesn't look near as good, which is a little surprising. I haven't looked at it in a while because we just been waiting for some kind of reversal type signs, which we have gotten in the last couple of weeks. But yeah, so glancing over here, man, yeah, total 2 does not look as good. We just came right to the top of the range here at about $1 trillion, and we're selling off so far, but it does have the daily reset on the posturing, so, all things considered, this is that daily reset that we've been looking for since all the way back over here in this little cluster in the mid-50s. We were looking for it over here. We almost got it, but then got rejected swiftly by the mama, and now here we are. Working our way back up, and maybe we actually are above the mama now with a nice reset. So this is a pretty decent posturing for Bitcoin. There's no denying that. Let's see if we can start. We did get the new highs, so we do have a higher high. We've got a higher low. Are we going to start making a official uptrend on the daily? It does look like it. It does look pretty damn sexy. So I would expect this. I'm probably looking for a little pullback here, though, maybe to like 40, like between 39 and 41,000. I do think that we're likely going to hit in that range there. But this daily, looks really good. This weekly, how it's postured up, is pretty good. The only big concern now that we got the daily turned around and looks nice. This weekly looks like it's about to close good, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be mentioning some kind of soldier pattern here on this, and it is pretty damn good. There's no denying that. The problem is all this resistance up here, horizontal, 618 and mama, all reside between 44 and 48,000. So there is mega resistance there, and until we Excuse me. And until we get up above the 618 retracement from this sell-off, which resides at about 48,000 handle, and we get an open and close on a weekly above that, I don't think we're out of the woods completely for the bulls, but it is very nice. So no, I'm not super bearish anymore, or I guess anymore. It wasn't really super bearish. It was more just neutral, sitting on the sidelines, waiting for this daily to reset, and we do have that now. So it is pretty nice. We are up here on the daily 200 in this horizontal, so a little bit of resistance here, and there's a little small blip of bearish divergence on the RSI, but nothing really too concerning quite yet. So let's go to futures, see how they close the weekly. Pretty good, right underneath this horizontal though, at like 43.5. So let's see if this weekly on spot can close above 43.5. That would look pretty good. If it closes below 43.5, I think that really opens the doors for a little retest of the top end of this range. Like I just said a minute ago, about 39K to about 41K. I do think that we're due for a little pull back in over into that zone, which would not be bad. That would be nice. Sine waving it up, moving on up, making higher lows, higher highs. The one thing that I will say for the bears is if we get back below 37,000 on pretty much any time frame, I do think that we come back and test the lower end of the range, and this would probably be a failed breakout of the upper end of the range, and we would probably come test the bottom side and possibly further. But we are getting, that's a little bit ahead of ourselves. Let's zoom in a little bit. We do have a little engulfing candle on the 458. This is the, okay, so this is interesting. So technically speaking, this is the most bearish candle setup that we have seen since this rally started, except for this little guy right here, which ended up getting negated a couple candles later, which was in the same day. Do we get that same posturing today? We definitely could, but most definitely is in the cards. We'll see how the rest of the day plays out. But, you know, just a little bit of a warning there that we are getting one of the nastier candles on this low time frame. You know, because we do need to make sure it's low time frame stuff. But, you know, last time it kind of happened. Here we went flat, but right here we ended up breaking this trend line, which we are still underneath too. So underneath this little trend line and getting, getting back above this trend line and getting back above this 618 marker that I've had on this chart for a while. If y'all been watching the show, you know we drew that on back when the first initial sell-off happened. And then I think I had to adjust it for this little local low too, which, I mean, from here to here isn't really going to move it that much. That's why I like to work in handles, especially on Bitcoin, something so big like this. You know, 48,000 handle, that's good enough. Close, I mean, can't be getting too granular on this stuff. Bitcoin moves. I mean, if we pull up a 7-minute chart, I mean, you can see it's moving $300, $400, $500. You can see over here ATR is what I'm referencing. You know, it's moving $200, $300 like all the time, even in 7-minute candle structures. So that don't really matter. The handles, and if you don't know what a handle is, that's just the range. So 48,000, or I guess right now we're like 43,000. Handle is any price 43XXX. So 43,100, 43,827, like where my cursor is, or 43,576, whatever. All that is in that range. And a handle can be anything, $10. It doesn't matter. And the $10 handle, anything at 10 point something something is that handle. Anyway, digressing a little bit. Let's go to Ethereum, because Ethereum on the lower time frames has definitely the nastier setup here. After getting massive, just up every single stupid day. I mean, this thing is just beast mode in. But when we zoom in here, we do have a little bit of an engulfing candle from the last three on the 458. And we haven't seen, I guess the worst one would probably be this one in a similar style posturing that engulfed. And maybe this guy right here slightly. So we'll see how this closes. I do think Ethereum needs to have a little bit of a pullback. I mean, this is pretty brutal. This is very aggressive to the upside. And this is likely emotional buying into the proposal, the London fork thing that just happened, I guess, a couple days ago. And I would be a little bit cautious if this is going to turn into a sell the news event. Now, I guess it has been a couple days later, so that hasn't happened quite yet. So maybe that isn't going to happen, but maybe this will just kind of come back down. And I do think the bulls need to keep it above about 2,800 flat to keep this structure looking pretty sound. I don't think, though, that that's going to happen. I do think that this is about to come back and test like 2,700-ish. And anything pretty much breaking this trend line on these lower time frames, I would look. And I know it kind of broke right here. I mean, but I drew it from the daily, not from the 458. So, I mean, it did bounce right off of this 21 EMA. So, I mean, whatever, close is close enough. And so if it breaks this trend line officially with like a daily closure, open and close below it, then I would definitely be looking for probably a pretty steep pullback, maybe to the 618. Definitely, I think to the 382 would be in the cards if this does break here. Then it does, this 2,700 horizontal just looks a little bit shallow, especially for this move here. I would probably be looking for the somewhere between the 618 and the 382 if this trend line does break. And I'm pretty sure that, at some point it will break because nothing just goes up like this pretty much straight up forever. So that's not how markets work. But yeah, so that's kind of the area. And anything back below, really, if bulls didn't defend this 2,400 level very good, I would also be kind of in the same camp with Bitcoin if it did lose 37K. And start to test the lower end of the range. But right now, it still looks fine. It's all good. I do like the posturing here for the most part. But I do think that we're in for a sell-off here. I do think, I guess technically we are kind of getting it. I did play a little bit of fading the move up here. Around 31. We'll see how that plays out. So far, so good, but we'll see the weekly. Let's do, because we can kind of check the weeklies out. Weekly does have the same kind of bullish pattern, too, that Bitcoin is showing us. So, not too shabby. Ethereum's definitely been taking the cake. You can see, though, we are at the 618 area on Ethereum already, and price has been coming back down below it. That would kind of suck if we do look above and fail on the 618. That is the golden ratio. And in how I like to do my analysis, it's the most important one in my book. I know, a lot of people use different things, waves, harmonics, whatever. It's all good. But just kind of how I do it, I just like to really use that 618. Let's see. And the 382 is pretty good, too. That's when stuff is a little bit stronger, or the momentum is keeping on one side. The 382 is good for that. Anyway, vertical, this is not sustainable in my opinion. I do think that we're going to get some pullbackage, at least to 2,700, and then we'll kind of have to reassess after that. Let's see how the weekly closed on Ethereum. Not too bad. Yeah, you can see, look at where spot price came. Look at this horizontal that we have on here. It was around 31 hundos. And you can see that that's about where we came up to. The high is 31.90. And if we zoom in a little bit, you can see the 3,100 area got distributed on that ass and is rolling over now. So, again, y'all know I put more weight on the futures chart. I do think that, it's just more of the professionals as the big boys are playing here. I do definitely put more weight on those guys. So, yeah, if we don't really get no rallies, we're just going to open flat on the futures here in a few hours. And, yeah, whatever. That's not terrible. It's not great. It's just kind of neutral for now. Because, the reality is we are finally getting higher lows and higher highs on the daily. So, the trend is attempting to reverse now. We just need a little bit more confirmation. And for me, that would be getting over the 618 and the mama and this horizontal, all right here in the mid 40,000s, which has a plethora of resistance. So, and you can see the 200 daily just off basic bitch TA has been respected since the sell-off happened in mid-May. I mean, it's come close to it many times and has been rejected most of the time. So, will we just get a rejection here? I don't know. We're so far we are. We'll have to just kind of wait. I do think we are about to get a pullback though into the low 40s. All right. Litecoin, yeah, whatever. I mean, it's cool, but it's just like, it's kind of whatever. I'm not super excited about that. I think XRP is a little bit sexier looking on this daily. It doesn't have any daily resets, though. Most of the altcoins don't have the daily reset like Ethereum and Bitcoin do, so that kind of sucks for the altcoins. But I mean, what are you gonna expect? We gotta have the mama bear and Ethereum unicorn shirt, man. They gotta flip around before altcoins. The altcoins do not lead this market. Yeah, this one almost has a reset. Ethereum Classic, which is funny. It's really, really close. Pretty much any price on the daily above 55 will technically do it, even though it's probably like a penny. Oh, excuse me. The hiccups are creeping on in. But again, really doesn't matter if Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to kind of stall out here. Maybe you get a couple little pumpy Pampsons, but it did have a better looking chart than most of the other ones. I think ETC and DOT were no, not DOT, sorry, Dash. ETC and Dash were the ones that were kind of showing relative strength before Ethereum. Or I guess at the same time, Ethereum and Bitcoin started rallying pretty hard. So, hey, kudos to Mr. Dog Lover Hodgkinson and Mr. Dash crew. Dash is good. I love Dash. Very quick chain. And it's private, I guess. I don't really know. All right, so DOT. Yeah, DOT's about to maybe reset too, but again, I've vocalized this a few times on the show. I just don't like that this is so aggressive, and most stuff is just not making higher highs. All the altcoins are pretty much lower. With the few exceptions of like ETC, like we just mentioned, and like Dash, kind of, but not even really when you look at the major structure. ETC probably is a little bit better. Yeah, just barely. It's actually not really even over the, look where it came up to, the May 19th big sell-off candle, which is where everything dumped on that day. And look, price came right to the body of it and then is being rejected so far. So, that is that is expected when you come to major resistance spots like that. So we just don't want to see it keep selling off here, and it does look like it wants to come down a little bit further, maybe like 52, 53. Anything back below $50 though, I think this thing will test back over here on this trend line. Let's see. And conversely to the upside, because we don't want to be one-sided here, it does need a daily open and close above like $63 to really get this party started. And this weekly, hey man, the weekly actually doesn't look too bad, man, on ETC. Even on the weekly showing, it can kind of come down to about mid-40s and still be okay. I wouldn't really like that much, but technically speaking, that's what the chart's telling us. And for me, though, anything back below like 48 is probably going to dump back into the upper 30s. So, all right, let's go to ADA, kind of just coasting up, coming up right to these. Look at this, right to the 19th candle, right to major resistances. So we just rallied to the top of the range. That isn't, what's the term? That is not turning around the momentum. That does not mean that we're out of the bearish posturing that a lot of these altcoins has. This could easily turn into just a big bear market rally. Some of the biggest rallies in tradables happen in bear markets. So, and I know a lot of people have been arguing with me and sending me messages like, oh, dude, no, this isn't a bear market, bro. It's like, dude, what the hell ever. It's not bullish. It's not bullish when you go down 73.5%. Okay, crypto's a funny thing. Bear markets, I guess it has to go down 99% and then it's a bear market. I don't know. But anyway, Link is actually almost resetting, but we're starting to get the rounded top a little bit, which is never a good thing. And we're smacking between the 377 and the 200, which I hate taking trades in the very middle of these two because there usually is not very good momentum when you're stuck between those on a higher time frame. And a daily is definitely considered that. And you can see too, like Bitcoin, the mama has mega resistance right above where this rally came in. So we do have to be cautious of these being bear market rallies, especially a lot of these altcoins stalling pretty much at the exact same places. This one is actually engulfing this previous candle here. Man, we got some pretty good selling today. Yeah, we got some pretty decent selling today. But, you know, there's no daily resets yet on most of these altcoins. So we need some more time. We're not quite out of the woods. I'm already seeing so many stupid articles and shit talking about Ethereum 10K, Bitcoin over 100 by Christmas. And it's like, damn, that's all it took. We just needed to rally, 40% off the lows and everybody's just back on the super hopium train. Yeah, I mean, that could happen. I'm not saying it's not going to happen or anything, but it's just, we don't have any of that confirmation yet. And until Bitcoin's back above, like we just spoke about this 618 and has a weekly open and close above this, I mean, that's like not even close to in the cards as far as how I like to do my analysis. But, hey, to each his own, right? That's what makes the market. Yeah, we are getting some rejection type candles here on some of these altcoins, so not super sexy. And really, they're just still in these stupid ranges. So yeah, it's exciting. Kudos to you if you bought some of these lows and rode some of this little mini hype train. Hey, that's awesome. Good scalping there. But is the trend reversing? I don't see that across the board yet by any means. XMR looking okay here as long as it's staying above 240. I mean, we actually are above the 200. So XMR is actually showing a little bit more strength kind of on the lines with Ethereum and Bitcoin versus most of these other altcoins. So that's an interesting feat. And, we got to take note too. Take note of coins that are outperforming in bear markets. That is very or downturns or bullish pullbacks, whatever the hell you want to call it. That is very telling of its market strength and underlying strength like for the future. But again, look at this. We are just coming up to major resistance area here at about 280. And so it looks better than most, but it still needs to do some work. ZEC, what are you doing, Zcash? Man, this thing it's got tails and wicks all over the place. Very methodical 45-degree line here, just kind of cruising up that. I guess as long as it's cruising up this, it's okay. But we are getting the first real nasty candle. Oh, excuse me. We are getting the first, if I can damn talk here, we are getting the first nasty sell-off candle, actually, like pretty much in this whole rally since this bottom. So, just like we looked over here and we had some of these engulfing candles that look beautiful and looking for like some relief bounces off of this. Now it's the flip side. Now it looks like we're kind of doing the opposite. You can do the bias buster. If this was on the downside, you'd be like, oh shit, we're looking for a reversal here. Hell yeah. But this is actually more bearish. So just sometimes you should do that to bust your biases. Just invert the chart real quick and see if it looks bullish, I guess, in this case, even though I know the chart's inverted. But y'all know what I mean. Dash also selling off kind of hard today. One of the bigger sell-offs. Looks like today is bringing the pain a little bit, man. 458. What do we got on this? Yeah, no momentum. Momentum has been gone for the last couple of days on the 458. So that's interesting. Anything back below 148 probably tests the mid 130s, and then we'll have to reassess from there. And conversely to the upside, we just really need some price above like 177. And, maybe that opens the door up to 200. But we are just like real smack middle in the ranges here, so that kind of sucks. Dogecoin. Dogecoin, pretty beast mode candle here yesterday. All the way up to, wow, to 29 cents almost, but getting a swift rejection already. Let's zoom in on the crack time frames. I want to see how that panned out because I bet it was just barely up there for a second. Yes, it was. Look at that. Bam. So only about not even an hour up at those levels and got a swift rejection of about 10% and then a little weak bitch rally. That looks like it went right to the 618 before rolling over. Oh, right around it. Real damn close. And to this horizontal and getting rejected. So that's pretty fugly for Dogecoin. That kind of sucks. Come on, Shiba. What are you doing here? Looks like this. I mean, if it doesn't hold this 23-cent handle, I think it comes back down to 19, 20 cents, and then we'll have to reassess. But it really needs, the bulls really need to hold 23 cents on Dogecoin to keep it sexy time. All right, Hex. What is Richard doing? Mr. Hart here is looking like kind of shit. I don't like this chart. I haven't liked it since these three candles when we first drew this line here. I was talking about getting the wicks and momentum stalling, and that has played to fruition so far. We did get a little false breakout here, retesting the mama and the 55 and this trend line. So far, it's kind of trying to defend it. But if this breaks back down below 11 cents, this is probably going to pan out as a failed breakout, and it will probably come back to the 8-cent handle, give or take maybe a penny. And this is already all done. Pulse chain is done. All the sacrificing is done as of a few days ago. You can see the last little hype before that happened. And this candle right here is pretty ugly. This is a 20% down candle, and from tail, or from the wick to tail, it's like 34%. This is pretty nasty candle, and I would say as long as we did get that nice run to like the 15-cent handle that we were kind of looking for out of this base, but now after this is sold off, man, like, this is actually pretty damn bearish sub these little local highs right here at about 14.5 pennies. This actually looks kind of heavy now. I would be a little bit cautious with the with Hex here. All right, let's see. ES. Let's go to traditionals. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's rewind because hash ribbon. Look at this shit. Look at the hash ribbons here, my friends. The hash ribbons, if you looked at them earlier today when price was a little bit higher, if you looked at it when price was at about closer to 44,000, upper 43Ks, this was flashing back and forth between a buy signal, and it was turning on and off. I wish I would have been on the stream a little bit earlier this morning when I saw that, but it's all good. And it looks like it's about to flip bullish, which would mean that the local low has been put in. And that's what we've been waiting for. We've been looking for that bitch to trigger for a little while. And you can see back here, if we scroll back real quick, these verticals mark the spot. We've looked at this chart a bunch of times. And whenever these buy signals kick in, the local low, the previous local low has been the low for the macro cycles. Bam, you can see it here. Bam, you can see it here, here. And so these, all right, so if you want a DCA, I do think this is the way to use DCA. I don't think DCAing blindly all the time, and plus you might get emotional with it, is going to work. Because what if you just started DCAing like right here when you're like, oh, this year it's amazing, crypto's the best. I mean, you're like probably down money. So it's like DCAing is not as rosy as it seems, all right? But when you add a couple metrics, I do like if the weekly's below the 21 EMA, if the buy right after the buy signal kicks in, I do think that DCAing after that for the hash ribbon, and this is a free indicator you can get. Just go up in here, indicators. You just type BAM hash ribbon. That shit will pop up. Boom, there it is. It's by this dude. Capriel Charles or whatever. It's the one that has by far the most likes on it right here and uses. But anyway, you can see that that has triggered most of the big rallies. And, you know, even though this one ended up getting faded on the local low, I think this is the actual only outlier for the signal, because obviously it still did go about 40% below the local low here. But it still did have a damn 40% rally out of it, to be fair. But yeah, of course, nothing's ever 100%, you know. So this right here is one of the instances. And then I do think there is one in 2015 too, like this one right here, pump. And then it just kind of went to the even lows. I don't think it made a closing low. So there's a couple instances, but overall, this thing is pretty damn accurate. And it is flirting today with going to the buy side. But right now, look at this megaphone pattern that we've had on here drawn for a while. It came right to the top of it. You know, are we about to go all the way down to the bottom end of this range now? Man, that would be absolutely brutal. That would absolutely destroy people's confidence. And I welcome that. That would actually be awesome, because I still think that my gut tells me that we're still a little too euphoric and frothy for this market to be done capitulating. And you can see this little purple line in 2015 that has been, maybe you can't see it, I'll brighten it up a little bit. You can see, and I drew this on here before all this happened right here. Pretty weird. I was just fanning through some stuff, and we pulled it up, put it on here. This is like a 2015 fractal. I got some notes on it from down here. I called it the ultimate hopium fractal. Now, you'd probably be like, oh, your initial gut was like, oh, whatever, dude. You're trying to sell it off, bro. You're just bearish, bear man. No, I actually think that this is the ultimate hopium fractal that we can have for the cycle, and that we just kind of, if this starts panning out like this, I'm going to be absolutely shocked, and that will be super lucky for the most part. But this is kind of what I'm looking for as the ultimate hopium if we're going to just stay in this stupid range. And that's what we were talking about when it happened, the sell-off. Our best bet for bulls was for this thing to just chop in a mega fat range for, maybe another year or so before continuing and breaking out. That would actually be super bullish. And so far, there is a couple of things lining up for that. So, but again, that's fractals. Fractals are not really that tradable, in my opinion. I don't, it's like, how do you really manage a risk on a fractal? You have to look at the current price structure, not just like the fractal. Hey, maybe someone does it. There's like a billion ways to skin cats in this game, but I don't know. All right. One thing before I forget, I will show this chart, and I do think it is very interesting. I saw it yesterday, and I was like, oh, shit, that looks like a chart that I actually erased my Twitter because I hate Twitter. I don't use it anymore. Unfortunately, because I had some really cool posts and calls on there. And one of them was the fractal of the market psychology graph on Bitcoin and the hype cycle back in the last one that we had. Actually, let me go ahead and go back to a regular, and I'll show you what I was talking about. I know this is way hindsight, and I think it was on a 3-day, if I remember correctly. Yes, it was. And if you look at this big pump, boom, boom, this looks exactly like the market psychology graph. And I posted on this somewhere in this week here. I was like, man, is this the end? Man, and dude, that shit was nailed it. Human psyche's as old as the hills, guys. Everybody wants to say, whenever you start seeing and even saying yourself this time is different, or making excuses of why this price action is different than any other time, you really need to step back and rethink that, because the human psyche is as old as the hills, boys and girls. All right, Ethereum. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. Let's look at the Ethereum chart. And I saw this. I was like, oh, shit. Look at this. This looks just like the market psychology graph. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I superimposed it over a... here, let me just copy this link over here because I don't want to show all my chats and stuff. If we do this and do that. So I posted this up over... I mean, look how close this is, guys. This is crazy. This is crazy. Now, Bitcoin does not show this at all. Does not really... I mean, I guess kind of, but it's not as clean as Ethereum's. I mean, it is there. Ethereum's is straight up... I mean, this is really scary to me. This is what I don't like about these really aggressive rallies when we're clearly not in super bull mode like we were back up in here. This is very, very interesting, boys and girls, Z's and Zers. This, to me, definitely looks exactly like this chart. And, you know, I'm not trying to be all bearish. I'm just presenting data as I see it. And I noticed this weekend. And here we are, man. Oh, and yeah, also, if you want to look at this, sometimes I post stuff, and it's under ZARERI on TradingView. I'm trying to get them to change my username to match with No Noiz, but they ain't really having it. They're saying I can't really change the names, which is stupid, whatever. But is this happening? Was that the return to normal pump? Like everything's badass? Oh my God. I will say that if we do start closing the weeklies back below anywhere, I think below 2,400, I do think that kicks in and we start selling off pretty aggressively. So that's just my 2 cents on that. Obviously, it's way too early to tell. And hell, man, even breaking this trend line right here probably, man, is probably going to open those doors too. So I know that's not what everybody wants to hear, but I'm a trader, man. I'm not a maxi, just all in, long forever, like the hodler's chart, which is my nice little joking chart over here. If y'all haven't seen it and you want to see it, here's Bitcoin hodler's chart. This is the maxi's chart. See, this is the one they like. This is all they look at. This is what they see. Right? All right, enough joking. Let's move on to ES, because we didn't get to wrap that up last week. Pretty nice close. Kind of lack of follow through though on this daily. Like Friday, this is kind of bullshit with the jobs numbers and everybody was all hyped up and shit, and then this is all we got. Like 8 points. 8-point close after all this consolidation. I was expecting this to at least get us, 20, 30 points out of this range, but so that's kind of lackluster. And there's no momentum, even on the 3-hour. Look at this. There's no momentum on the oscillators, and far away from the daily, too. So kind of a little bit concerning there. Same with NASDAQ. I mean, even on Friday, it sold off. It didn't even get any continuation. So that's kind of odd. When what should happen doesn't. Like, we should be getting good breakouts from this, and we just didn't get it. Even on all that nice economic data, blah, blah, blah crap. Just didn't really get it. But, hey, as long as it's holding this, horizontal right here at about 15K, it's okay. Nothing's too crazy about it. But everything is all real lackluster closes on Friday. So kind of a little bit concerning. And, weekly is slightly bearish on the Dow. So that's also a little bit weird, too. Russell, just absolute garbage. It's the same price it was in February 5th. It's been that same price many, many days this whole year. And so this is just nothing. Burger tried to make a little trend line here, but broke it. Comes up, rallies the underbelly, and gets rejected so far. There's no momentum on this guy. Well, actually, I'll have to renege that. There is a little bit of momentum on the 3-hour, but it does have this funky-ass doji indecision candle in the middle of the range. Yeah, great. Indecision in the middle of the stupid range. How cool is that? Hell, maybe I usually don't like to buy condors or straddles or strangles, but it might actually be warranted on the Russell coming up this week if the IV is okay. Dow Jones right up against the upper end of transportations, I should say. Right up against the underbelly here of this trend line. Will this actually break out here? I don't know. Maybe. Too early to tell. 3 hours not good enough. But, you know, if we start getting some moves above 14.6, 14.7, yeah, that's probably okay. But it still has lots of downward pressure on it, though. I mean, you got every shorter term moving average pointing down, but we do have the 200 right underneath it, so that does throw it off, which we talk about a lot on the channel. Whenever you have short term MAs finally getting the pressure and it's bearish, bearish, bearish through it, but then when you get real close to the 200 and the longer term EMAs, yeah, you got to be a little bit cautious of the signal. They're not as strong there. And the Dow, I mean, this is concerning, though. The Dow has been showing negative divergence against the ES since May, mid-May now, and that's generally not a good sign. I actually have something to share on the Dow. Yeah, look at this. With VIX getting monkey hammered and we get no good rally on Friday, terrible. Absolute garbage. But look what VVIX did. It came right to its trend line and hovered on it like the Moses man. Look at that. Just chilling. Very interesting place for it to stop. Oil looks pretty heavy too. Lower lows, or I'm sorry, lower highs. Got one lower low. Will it be another lower low right here though? I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Anything back below 68 bones, then we probably will make a lower low. Bulls really need to hold this 67 handle or it's going to get kind of fugly. Big move on bonds. Are they going to start breaking down here? I don't know. I really want to see. This was like some crazy reaction from jobs numbers and stuff. I really want to see what happens this coming week. And I do think there's something happening this week, like Jackson Hole maybe or something. I know that comes up in August, so that'll be interesting. TNX just rallying right to the 21. Nothing really cool there. Big move on the dollar on Friday. That was like the biggest thing. But yeah, I mean, whatever. It's just kind of coming back up to the top end of this range. See how the market digests this at the coming to this week. DAX at the top of the range. Shanghai just chilling right underneath the top of its range. Gold did not like this. That dollar strength just mollywopped gold. Had kind of a little bit of a clue on this candle that there was some stronger sellers here, and we got continuation. Pretty nasty candle there. Silver making another lower low on the daily. Silver actually is looking a little heavy, man. It actually closed the weekly below here, kind of destroying. I mean, it's still kind of an ascending triangle, but it is destroying kind of the intermediate structure from right here. But you could still kind of draw it on there, but it is looking a little bit concerning. And the monthly, see how this monthly closes? Still got 23 days. I think this monthly close is going to be very important for silver. And again, like I said, we got 3 weeks left on that, so that's plenty of time. Platinum broke down, got stopped out of that. Palladium is just kind of chilling. Kind of looks almost like a little mini descending triangle, which looks like a measured move to about this low. So precious metals definitely taking the heat for sure. All right, I think that's it. I think that's all I wanted to talk about today. Did I forget? Oh, wait, I guess we can do this. It's a work in progress. Not this. We already talked about the this chart, which is a little bit concerning. But it's this chart, and I'm gonna kind of take off a lot of my notes over here, and we're just gonna read some of these notes here. And I'm doing correlations with correlation matrix stuff and measuring when the Dow Jones transportation and stuff, when they get very much diverged, which you can see whenever this is like when it goes negative. And so I'm just kind of researching that. It's a work in progress. Like I said, I'm not quite done with it. But anyway, there's been only 28 signals since 1977, so not that many occurrences. And 80% roughly of the time a sell-off does occur after these signals pop off. And on average, it's about 8 to 10% downturn. And there are two big outliers, notably the 2000 crash and the, what was the other one, so I don't mess it up, and the '08 crash, which they both had very large sell-offs after that. But this is just kind of interesting. And I did notice there is one correlation on here that is like, at first I just looked at Dow Jones transportation whenever it flipped. But then I noticed, look at this Russell correlation. Look at this. Look at this, man. In a couple of months, it went from like 1 to 1 pretty much to negative. See, that's very, very aggressive. And I went back in time and I noticed that only happened 1, 2, 3 times. This is the 4th time. So 3 times, that's pretty crazy. And every single time that it did happen, a big sell-off came on, except for right here. So I'm sorry, not every single time. 2 out of 3 times. And when you had it coinciding with the Dow Jones at the same time, it was actually pretty damn brutal. See, we didn't have it right here on the one that did fail. It wasn't at the same time like we are right now. You can see right here. And I know there's a lot of data on here. Just bear with me. I'm still cleaning up and doing some research on it. But just going to put a little bit of the research that I did out there. And so you've got this right here. It wasn't quite negative, but it did catch up. And I guess technically it did have a little mini sell-off, a few percent. That doesn't really matter. We're looking for, 5+% at least. But the last times, we had here, it went negative, and right here, it didn't quite go negative. But on this one, we definitely have them both firmly negative. And so that's interesting. And look at this divergence up here, too, on this guy. Look at this. I mean, something is busted up. Dow Jones, trannies, shouldn't be doing this with this market. You can see they trade in lockstep. You can just look at this. Instead of looking at all this, you can just look down here at this yellow one, and you can see it's pretty much major positive correlation over, 0.5, like almost all the time. And so, definitely a little bit concerning, my friends. And especially so fast, too. I mean, this is quick. This is only like, a month? In a month, we just completely lost all of it. Yeah, I don't know. Something's a little bit off. That's for sure. Just wanted to share that right there with you guys. Again, it's still in the process. I'm still working on it a little bit, getting some more data on there. But yeah, pretty interesting. Might be triggering. There's going to be some kind of gnarly move here coming up in equities, which wouldn't bode well for crypto. That's for sure. Alrighty, I think that's probably it. We can go look at, I did want to look at some of these since I didn't do a show on Thursday or Friday. We did have lots of big blockchains. This one popped up on my scanner on, I think it was on Monday or Tuesday, and I'd never even heard of it. I had to add it to the block churn list. It's a mining company here in the States. Yeah, pretty crazy, pretty big moves out of that. A lot of them did. MicroStrategy, Riot. I mean, pretty much most things moved really big. Hut moved pretty big too. Hut's one of the better ones, I think. Yeah, so you can see these are kind of resetting. So it is nice to see these basing out. And that gives us a little bit more bullish hopium probably for the crypto sector. But, shit can get thrown back real fast. And we want to make sure that these are legit breakouts. And again, back to the Bitcoin chart, we don't really have that until we break above the 618 retracement. All right, so are we going to maybe rally up to that for the last 2 raw and put in the ultimate bull trap? Yeah, possibly. That could totally happen. But what the hell? I do think that right now we are getting the best daily structure that we've had since the sell-off happened. So there's no denying that. Anything back below 37K for my wrap-up session here. Anything back below 37,000. I do think we test the lower end of the range. That would suck for the bulls. And I would really like them to just defend about 39 to 40,000. I think that would be super bullish on this structure that's forming, and that would also create another higher low from here to here. So That would be very, very nice. We'll see how that plays out over the next week. In Ethereum, this is just super insano move, just all the way to the moonshot here. And yeah, I'm definitely concerned about this for sure. I don't like how aggressive this is. This is rallied into a news event. So yeah, I mean, hey, it's okay. It doesn't look as clean as Bitcoin's chart. You know, we got this little pullback and re-rally. Ethereum was just like, bitch, I just go up. So it had literally one sell-off day. Maybe today will be the next one. We got 4 minutes and 20 seconds left. Yeah, bro. Hell yeah, dude. That's what I'm talking about, man.
Smoke
but,
weed every day.
you know, let's see. Yeah, I think that's about it. Bitcoin, stay above 39 for the ultimate. Nice higher highs, higher lows chart setup. That would be super bullish. Don't break 37. That just makes this a test of the top of the range, relief rally, and that sucks. Ethereum, don't break this trend line. If you do, it's probably going to get pretty fugly, and I would look for at least a test down to 27 and probably closer to 25 to 2400. If that does happen, anything back below 2400, I would consider that the same as Bitcoin below 37, and we probably come back and test the bottom of the range. But hey, the dailies are showing pretty decent recoveries here, and it's the best that it's looked since the sell-off started. So, you know, again, I want to make that that point very clear. And I think that's it, man. Let's see how the markets open this week. I think Jackson Hole's a big banker meeting. I'm pretty sure it's this coming week. Let's just go look so we know. It's coming up this month. I do know that. Jackson Hole. We don't want that. We just want this. That should pop up. Air quality. No, I guess I do have to put in meeting. The Economic Symposium. Yes. When does it say it be? Tell me, Kansas City Fed. Tell me. Blah, blah. They don't want to say the date. Oh, it's at the very end of the month. So it's all the way at the 26th. All right, so we still got a little ways for that. All right. But, yeah, it's a big banker meeting. So probably have some kind of interesting info come out of that. Maybe some rate hike info. Things of that nature. But awesome. Much love. I'll see y'all guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your weekend. Peace. Oh yeah, don't forget. Hash ribbons. If we close above 44,000, it might be like 43, like 8 or 9. I can't remember exactly what it was, but around 44K, it is flipping back and forth with this price action. So it's close, man. Not quite there, but it's close. Almost. All right, now I'm really signing off. Peace.